Welcome to Splice Fabrication. My name is Aaron. This channel is going to be about cool metalworking projects in my home garage. Let's start off this first video with a shop tour so you can see the tools I'm working with. All right, so first we'll start with the welders and the welding cart. The cart is a Vulcan multi-welder cart from Harbor Freight. Harbor Freight has really stepped up their quality on stuff like this. This is an amazing cart, spot for multiple welders, 2 gas bottles, got pure argon in the back, C25 mix up front, ample storage. This spot here has is great for storing consumables. All right, thank you. Great for storing consumables, additional wire, fixturing tools, things like that. The other side's got a spot for a helmet, foot pedal, stingers, all the other pieces and parts that are going with the welders. Great storage there. Hinges are just super high quality. Drawers go in and they lock in place so that when you're turning the cart or moving the cart, things just don't come out and fall out. Again, just very, very impressed with the quality of the cart. On the welder front, we've got 2 welders here. First is the MIG welder. This is an Everlast Cyclone 262. This is actually a very recent purchase for me. I don't have a whole lot of hours on this machine yet, but it seems to be doing everything I've asked of it so far. 275 amp output running MIG and 200 amps while running stick. And this is an inverter machine and it can still run 6010, which is pretty rare. Only downside, it is a strictly 240 volt machine. You do not get the dual voltage like a lot of the inverter machines that you're getting these days. My TIG welder is from AHP. I had this since 2015. Again, high quality welder for a home hobbyist. Duty cycle is a little lower than most welders painted red or blue, but for a hobbyist, it does more than what I've needed out of it. It's a high feature machine. AC, DC, so we can run steel and aluminum. Has a pulse function, lots of different functionality here. Can also run stick. Overall, been very, very impressed with this welder and happy with what I've been able to do with it so far. All right, so next up is the fixture table. This has been a great addition to my shop. Really stepped up my game as far as fabricating goes. I took a chance on this table. I actually sourced it directly from the manufacturer in China, hired a customs broker and got everything shipped in. When it arrived, I seriously could not have been more pleased with the quality of this table. It is a 5-sided 3D table with very parallel and perpendicular surfaces. The table itself weighs around 600 pounds and it has a grid of 16 millimeter holes that are spaced 50 millimeters apart. And the holes, if you're unfamiliar with a fixture table, are really what allow you to clamp down with the different fixturing pieces. But you can put your metal here, clamp down, and hold everything square and where you need it to be. And then when you weld, with all the heat input that goes into the metal, being held in place with the clamps really minimizes the distortion. And again, it's just kind of stepped up my game as far as being able to fabricate parts that are dimensionally correct. When making furniture and things like that, you can make 2 sides of a chair or a frame, and as long as you've done your measurements and clamped everything down correctly, you'll end up with 2 equal pieces. And again, it's just been a great addition to the shop. All right, so next up is the Langmuir Systems Crossfire Pro CNC plasma table. Purchased this about 2 years ago, and in the time that I've had it, it's just done a really great job for what I need to do around here. It's got a 3 foot, almost 3 foot, 33 inch by 48 inch or 4 foot water table. The water table helps capture the smoke, really helpful in keeping the metal smoke down as you're cutting. Cutting on this table is done with a Prime Weld Cut 60. This machine has 60 amp output, and I've used it to cut everything from 18 gauge all the way up to 3/8 steel plate like butter. No issues at all whatsoever, and the table just holds such a high degree of accuracy. You can really make nice parts. The beauty of this table for the home hobbyist is just being able to design complex parts on the computer in CAD, bring them over to the machine and cut them out versus having to draw them out on the piece of steel and revert to a cutoff wheel. So much extra grinding is required. Having this table just really makes life easy. I've done quite a bit of upgrades to this machine over the past couple of years. If you're interested in learning more about that, as well as just more about the table in general, just let me know in the comments below. I'd be more than happy to do a detailed video on this piece of equipment. I've added a water system, I've added an air system, an air dryer, quite a bit of things just to add to the convenience of the table. The table itself comes pretty bare bones, but once you get the added systems put on, then I mean it makes life easy. I can come from a totally cleaned up machine to cut ready in about 15 minutes. The air compressor that I'm using for this machine is a 60-gallon Craftsman air compressor. We'll cut to a close-up shot of that. Nothing fancy with that air compressor. It's a 60-gallon machine and can output around 10 CFM. And it's more than enough to keep up with cutting on this table. All right, so continuing on is my South Bend 9-inch metal lathe. This lathe actually started life as a Model C, but the guy that I purchased it from virtually turned it into a Model A by adding the quick change gearbox here on front. This makes changing in between the feeds and speeds for different threads super quick, super easy. Just pull the levers here and you've got everything locked in. We've also got a phase 2 quick change tool post, which enables me to change in between tools very, very quickly. I've got it mounted to a Husky toolbox, pretty much just using the toolbox to store tools and different odds and ends to the lathe. I'm pretty new to the world of machining, but I've enjoyed having this capability in my shop for some of the projects that I've been doing here recently. All right, so to finish up is a few odds and ends. First is the 36-inch metal brake for when we need to do some sheet metal bending. This specific model can bend up to 20 gauge at 36 inches wide and up to 16 gauge at 18 inches wide. Those are both mild steel specs. Next is our Wilton C2 vise. I'm a pretty big fan of Wilton, as you can see. I think they make a great vise, and this specific one is mounted to a tractor wheel weight down there at the bottom, and we're using it as a pedestal vise. Next, I've got a sandblast cabinet for some metal finishing of different projects. This makes life very, very easy when you can just sandblast everything away. And then finally is a benchtop drill press and an Evolution chop saw. All right, so with that, that'll finish the shop tour. I'm looking forward to sharing with you guys some interesting projects here in the near future. Thanks for watching and see you next time. I lost my whole train of thought. So on the welders, keep going, but I'll do it over. Okay. The cart is a Vulcan multi-welder cart. Great for